So let's talk about Spider-Man, which is celebrating its 20th anniversary today. Actually, this month, but I think you know what I'm saying. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Welcome, true believers and fellow YouTubers alike. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I'm going to bring to you a re-review of the 2002 superhero flick Spider-Man, released by Columbia, directed by Sam Raimi, from a screenplay by David Cope. The first installment of Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, starring Tobey Maguire in the title role along with Willem Dafoe, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Cliff Robertson, Rosemary Harris and J.K. Simmons. The film chronicles the title character's origins and early superhero career. After being bitten by a genetically altered spider, outcast teenage genius Peter Parker develops spider-like superhuman abilities and adopts a masked identity to fight crime and injustice in New York City, facing the villainous Green Goblin in the process. Now, Spider-Man had been in limbo for so long since the 80s, and even though Spidey did appear in live-action form in the 70s, appearing on PBS's The Electric Comedy, but didn't say anything, and then in the late 70s had a TV show on CBS. Anyway, due to financial issues and licensing, it had been stalled for so long. Oh boy. Many people were up for the directing of this, including Roland Emmerich, Ang Lee, Chris Columbus, Barry Sonnenfeld, Michael Bay, M. Night Shyamalan, David Fincher, and even Tony Scott. They were considered to direct before Raimi was hired. Originally, at one point, Joseph Zio, James Cameron, and heck, even Tobe Hooper were all attached to direct the film at one point. Oh well. The film was very popular. But I'll get to that in a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the story. On a school trip, high school senior Peter Parker visits a Columbia University genetics laboratory with his friend Harry Osborn and his crush Mary Jane Watson. There, a genetically engineered super spider bites Peter and he falls ill after returning home. Meanwhile, Harry's scientist, Father Norman Osborn, founder and owner of Oscorp, tries to secure an important military contract. He experiments on himself with an unstable performance-enhancing chemical and goes insane, killing his assistant, Dr. Strom. The next day, Peter finds he is no longer nearsighted and has developed spider-like abilities. He can also shoot webs out of his wrists and has quick reflexes, superhuman speed and strength, and a high-end ability to sense danger. Now, of course, Peter lives with his Uncle Ben and Aunt May, who raised him like a son. Well, anyway, but he brushes off his uncle's advice that with great power comes great responsibility. Well, apparently, he and Uncle Ben had an argument as of this. Peter considers impressing Mary Jane with a car, and he enters an underground wrestling tournament to win a big money prize for it, and wins his first match against Bonesaw McGraw, who is played by the late great Macho Man Randy Savage. But the fight promoter cheats him out of his earnings. When a burglar robs the promoter's office, Peter allows him to escape in retaliation, and he realized it wasn't Peter's problem that the promoter got robbed. Moments later, he discovers Ben was carjacked and killed by a robber with a handgun. Peter pursues the carjacker, only to realize it was the robber he let escape. The carjacker flees, but dies after falling out a window. Meanwhile, a crazed Norman interrupts a military experiment by Oscorp's corporate rival Quest Aerospace and kills several people. Upon graduating, Peter begins using his abilities to fight injustice, donning a spandex costume and the persona of Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson, publisher of the Daily Bugle newspaper, hires Peter as a freelance photographer since he is the only person providing clear images of Spider-Man. Norman, upon discovering Oscorp's board plans to oust him in order to sell the company to Quest, assassinates them, and Jameson dubs the mysterious killer the Green Goblin. The Goblin offers Spider-Man a place at his side, but Peter refuses. They fight and Peter is wounded. At Thanksgiving dinner, Peter's Aunt May invites Mary Jane, Harry, and Norman. And during the dinner, Norman sees the wound and realizes Peter's identity after getting cut by one of Goblin's razor bats. Thinking the only way to defeat Peter is to attack those special to him. Norman later attacks Aunt May, forcing her to be hospitalized. Now for the final act and the ending. You know the procedure like always. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid any spoilers. If you've seen the movie already, please continue on. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Harry, who is dating Mary Jane, sees her holding Peter's hand to comfort him and presumes she has feelings for him. Devastated, Harry tells his father that Peter loves Mary Jane, unknowingly revealing Spider-Man's biggest weakness. So, Norman holds Mary Jane in a Roosevelt Island tram car full of children hostage alongside the Queensboro Bridge. And he forces Peter to choose whom he wants to save and drops them both. Peter saves both Mary Jane and the tram car, but Norman then throws him into an abandoned building and brutally beats him like a madman. When the Goblin says how he shall kill MJ, Peter regains his strength and gains the upper hand. Norman reveals himself to Peter and begs for forgiveness while subtly getting his glider ready to impale Peter from behind. Warned by his spider sense, Peter dodges the attack and the glider impales Norman instead. Norman tells Peter not to reveal his identity as the Goblin to Harry before dying. Peter takes Norman's body back to the Osborn house just as Harry walks in and, believing Spider-Man to have killed his father, pulls a gun on him, but he escapes. At Norman's funeral, Harry swears vengeance towards Spider-Man, whom he deems responsible for his father's death. And Mary Jane confesses to Peter she is in love with him. Peter, however, feels he must protect her from the unwanted attention of his enemies, so he hides his true feelings and tells Mary Jane that they can only be friends. As Peter leaves, he recalls Ben's words and accepts his new responsibility as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. End of story. Okay, so what did I think of Spider-Man? I've got to say, I love this movie. This is one of my main favorite movies of 2002. I believe it's my top favorite that year, as a matter of fact. It would actually be the second movie I went and saw in theaters by myself. I kind of wanted to see this while my mother and aunt went and saw Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. I just really wanted to see this because I knew this was going to be a good movie, and I was right. I loved it. It was just so incredible. With a great score from Danny Elfman, who also did the music for the Batman movies, which of course came out before this. Did one heck of a job. Sam Raimi's direction was really good. Even though I didn't see much of his work, not even The Evil Dead until years later. Anyway, the film would get a lot of positive reviews from audience and critics. It would be the first film to reach 100 million in a single weekend. Oh, excuse me. As well as the most successful film based on a comic book at the time. The film went on to make $825 million worldwide, became the third highest grossing film of 2002, the highest grossing superhero film, and the sixth highest grossing film overall at the time of its release. Spider-Man is credited for redefining the modern superhero genre as well as the summer blockbuster. After its success, it spun 2 sequels, which of course Maguire would return for those along with a few others. Now then, our cast include Tobey Maguire as the title character, and I gotta say he does a great job. Willem Dafoe plays Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. Very good performance as well. Kirsten Dunst plays Mary Jane. Of course, I saw Kirsten Dunst in the first film I went and saw alone. That was Bring It On, which came out a couple years before this. James Franco plays Harry Osborn. He's good. Playing Uncle Ben is Cliff Robertson, who I know best from some things. Most people know him from TV's Falcon Crest and several other things. I also know him from the 60s film Charlie, and also as the cowboy villain Shame from the Batman TV series. Rosemary Harris plays Aunt May, who is very good. J.K. Simmons plays J. Jonah Jameson, who is absolutely really good. Yeah, I really like him when he tries to give word to the people who work at the Bugle and whatever, because you know, of course, that Jameson's main goal is to prove that Spider-Man is a menace to the world rather than a hero. Yeah, it's like, who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's what he is. A menace, a public menace. Yeah, and well, everybody else is trying to convince him that he's a hero. Well, they can't get a good shot of him. And James is like, oh, is he shy? He's like, look, if we can get a picture of Julia Roberts on a thong, we can certainly get a picture of this weirdo. Put it up on the front page. Cash money for a picture of Spider-Man. If he doesn't want to be famous, then I'll make him infamous. Yeah. Once Peter gives him his first photos, like, they're crap, mega crap. Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. Anywho, let's see. And actually, Sam's brother Ted Raimi appears in this as one of the Bugle's workers. Ted Hoffman. Let's see. Elizabeth Banks plays Bay Brand, who is Jameson's secretary, and Bill Nunn plays editor of the Bugle, Robbie Robertson. Anyway, it has lots of other appearances as well. See, Octavia Spencer's in this, plays a staff member at the wrestling match. Let's see, even Bruce Campbell, of course, who, let me see. Yeah, he plays the announcer at the arena. Of course, Campbell would be best known for his work in the Evil Dead franchise. And of course, he recently did appear in a show Raimi had actually had worked on, Xena, Warrior Princess. And just so many others, the list goes on. Anyway, the soundtrack's real good. I actually do have the soundtrack to it. That includes What We're All About by Sum 41. Let's see, Hero by Chad Kroeger of Nickelback, along with Josie Scott from Saliva. Oh, just so many others. Really cool. Anyway, I also had the video game as well, released by Activision and developed by Treyarch for home consoles. That is, I still have it since I don't have it in its original case, and my PS2 won't play my games anymore. But I still have fond memories of it, though. Let's see. It was just so good. After the success of the film, it would later get a new animated series on MTV, but that unfortunately was short-lived, though. But anyway, I'm just gonna say that Spider-Man is still a great superhero flick, and I still love it to this day. I know it's been some time since I last saw it, but hey, I still have a lot of fond memories of it. It's definitely good. So, everything in it's good. A great cast, great story, great direction, great music and score, etc., etc., etc. In the end, would I recommend Spider-Man? The answer is easily hell yeah. Yes, this is one flick you need to check out. So, what are your thoughts on Spider-Man? Please tell me in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a re-review of Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Thank you for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other superhero flicks. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of X-Men from 2000, which was in a way that kind of kickstarted the superhero genre, even though Blade came out a couple of years before that, and I have yet to do that series. In the upper right-hand corner is my review of the recent hit Spider-Man feature from last year, Spider-Man No Way Home, which Tobey Maguire and Willem Dafoe actually return, as a matter of fact. Or, if you want something else, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my review of a real big surprise Marvel flick from last year, and that would be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya and Excelsior! Bye now.